Hello everyone, Barb here from barbaderholt.closetomyheart.com. Today is my first Tackle It Tuesday actual video. I am going to be scrapbooking a project that I have been circling around for about a day and a half. I think part of the reason was because it's a little bit of a tender subject. My father-in-law passed away and we have some cards and things to deal with. And I want to put together a layout honoring him and preserving some of these memories. So, not the easiest topic to tackle. On the other hand, I realized as I was sort of stalling out trying to do this project that part of the reason probably had to do with the fact that my craft room was a disaster. My craft studio. It's also my laundry room. But this half is craft room. This half is laundry room. That's how I've always crafted. I've always crafted near my washing machine and dryer. I've spent a lot of time near my washing machine and dryer. As the mother of 3 sons and a husband and me, a lot of clothes to wash. So when I had loads going, I would craft on top of the washing machine. I would move it over to the ironing board and craft over there for a while. And then sometimes I had a table that I would move things to. It was not ideal, but it served its purpose. It was what I did with what I had. So I have often seen when someone will post, how do I get out of my slump? How do I get back into it? How do I find my mojo? And I'll read the comments and suggestions made by many different people. And I always see the same comment over and over. Clean your craft space. Put things away. And I think that that's a really important thing because your eye needs that clear place to rest. And that is part of why Tackle It Tuesday is important to me, because I've got this little stack. Let's see if I can do it. This stack. It hasn't gotten any bigger because I haven't allowed myself to put anything there. But this was in that stack. These are the sympathy cards that we received. And I need to deal with that stack. I need to deal with those things. And that is what Tackle It Tuesday is about. I am challenging myself to use current close to my heart product and tackle these projects. So stay with me. Hopefully this will inspire you to tackle some of the things that you have sitting around. And I am back. Now I'm overhead here. You can see the top of my craft space and all of the things that I've gathered for this project. One of the first things that I do when I am looking at a project like this is to dig into the close to my heart references that they have put together. This is Love of Color. This is volume 2, which features the newest colors in the Close to My Heart color palette. I have it sandwiched in here along with the previous Love of Color that has the older colors in it and still some current. So I wasn't getting rid of that, but I wanted to keep this all in one place and it did all fit together. So when I started this, I looked at this page. This features avocado paper and I thought, oh, that's pretty. My father-in-law was a carpenter. He was a builder. He built houses. He did remodeling. He helped to build our house. And so I grabbed the green paper, the avocado paper. I thought, oh, that would be kind of cool. The stripes are kind of cool. And oh, that would be kind of neat. But then I knew that I wanted to use current paper. I wanted to use the wood grain paper pack that we have. And it's beautiful. This is some of it right here. And I wasn't sure how I was going to make that happen on this page layout. And I flipped through the pages and I landed on the paprika page. And I saw this design and I thought, oh, is that neat? that might work for my layout. I liked the little bit of stamping going on here. I liked how they used some wooden elements. I thought I can put wood paper in there, and that would be just a nice little subtle way to remind people that he was a builder. There are hundreds of people who sleep under roofs that my father-in-law built. We do it every night. And it is a wonderful, wonderful memory. So I am going to use this as my guide. They don't give a pattern number here. I know that we had, I think there was a video and they might have had something online. I didn't feel that I needed actual measurements per se, because I figured I could figure this out. It's basically you're cutting squares and then you have to whack them in half. So I'll show you how I did that. I'm also pulling in some flip-flaps and an 8.5 by 11 page protector. It's meant for the 8.5 by 11 albums, but I'm going to use it to hold his obituary. It's the perfect size for that. So it's going to be a little bit of almost a storyteller in the Story by Stacy line, where you have different sizes of things going on. And I like that style. I think that's a really neat way to scrapbook and get a lot of stuff in a 2-page layout. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to work on what's going into this big, I think it's a 12 by 8. Yeah, it's 8 inches wide, 12 inches long. It's a flip flap. So it has adhesive on here and you would attach it to the top of a page protector. I've already cut a piece of, I believe this is cinnamon cardstock. Yes, this is the cinnamon. And I'm going to, well, first I need to attach the cards. Most of the cards I am attaching, I'm just slipping into flip-flaps. But this one I am going to attach to this piece of paper. So I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on the back and center-ish, eyeball-ish it. Then I took a piece of, I think this is maybe, yeah, it was 3.5-inch piece of pattern paper. This is one of the wood grain patterns that was left over from from cutting the squares actually. And I am going to, I cut it in half, and then I actually cut it into fourths. And I'm going to pop this in here just to put a little bit of color above and below the card. The card can still be opened. I just tacked it down. And normally I would maybe use my mat to measure. I'm just going to eyeball it. Get that on there, and then I'm going to flip it over, and I have this other one, and I'm doing this because these cards are a little bigger than the other cards that I had, so I thought this would be a better way to deal with those. And again, they can still open, so if you want to look at the message that was written or see who sent it, you still have access to that. Sometimes that's a trick, getting it. You can slap it down with adhesive, but you want to make it viewable. If somebody is looking back at this in 10 or 20 years, they're going to want to be able to look at that. There it goes, and it's in. And I will show you how we attach that later. I also took our 5x7 flip-flaps. They work perfectly to slip most cards into. And these are some cards that I received in the mail, my husband received in the mail. And so I've got them all here, and I will show you how I'm going to lay those in as well. Now we have to create this other thing here. And this is the 8.5 by 11, and I printed the obituary, and it slipped right into this 8.5 by 11, and it is punched to fit perfectly into our scrapbooks. So that will also layer in there nicely. I do need to create the triangles. And I'm thinking, was trying to decide, I really like that. I think that's what I might do. These are my base pages. These are, they're paprika. So this was that paper that I saw that I thought, ooh, that is so cool. I have a big ruler here. My son had to take an art class in college, and he had to have this great big ruler. That was something that they required in his class. So all I'm going to do is go from corner to corner and draw a line on the back of the square. This square is 8.5 by 8.5, and I'm drawing them on the back side, and I'm just going to use scissors, and I'm going to cut them. And it'll be okay if my line isn't perfect, because you can kind of fudge that. And I'll show you how you kind of get around it not being perfect. This middle piece of paper here, this one is a 9-inch square, and then this one is a 10-inch square. And I just kind of eyeballed and guessed it about the measurements that they had there. I think we had a pattern available online, but yeah. So that's it. So I'll put my big ruler away. Hopefully it won't crash down. That I think I bought at Hobby Lobby for my son when he needed those classes. Then I am going to I'll just take my little non-stick scissors, and I can see the line. I don't know if you can see it. It's there in the middle. And I'm just going to cut from corner to corner, following along that line. Okay, all the triangles are put together, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my mat here. Yep, I'm going to do that. I want to get these put together. That way I don't have to worry about losing any pieces. And I'm using our new tape runner. So far so good. So I'm looking at placing it in about a 1/2 inch from each side. Yes, I have to be quiet so I can concentrate. Then this one is only 1/4 inch. Oh, I put the tape runner on the wrong side. You can just give it a little rub-a-dub-a-doo. If you have an adhesive eraser, if you put that on the wrong side, you can just rub it off quick. We want the adhesive on this side because I decided I liked that darker color. It has a little more of a pronounced wood grain to it. And voila, there we go. one set of triangles. We'll do the other side. And I did leave this little bit of flower in there. I liked the whiteness, and I had lines going in this one, and I thought the lines there and the lines with this, I thought that was just a little too busy. So I decided to give it a whirl, doing something a little different. And flowers are pretty. He appreciated the outdoors. He loved to go elk hunting out in Colorado. He and his oldest son, my oldest of the brothers-in-law, they would go every year. In later years, my father-in-law really didn't do much hunting. He would get a license, but my brother-in-law really was the one who did the hunting. But I thought that little pop of white broke up that intense stripy pattern that I have going on there. Okay, so I'm going to set those aside for now because here are my 12 by 12 page protectors. And I thought it would be nice to add a little bit of stamping on the bottom of these. I've got this. It's a hello, thank you, what's it called here? It's a stamp and thin cut set. It says it's from Happiness Lives Here, and that is the name of the colored pattern paper is the Happiness Lives Here pattern paper. And then that wood grain paper comes from the wood grain paper pack. You can go to my online store and type into the search bar wood, and all the different things that have to do with wood will come up, and that wood grain paper will come up. You can also click on the shop button and click on paper and then choose the pattern paper, and it will be in that pattern paper as well. So I thought I would do a little bit of stamping. I did already pull a couple things off, but I wanted to show you. I'm going to use this little kind of an X guy. And here's what I do to get it pretty straight. You just kind of let it do its thing. Let it relax. It may not be perfect, but I'm not going for perfection. I'm going for getting it done. And then I take a block and just pick it up. I am going to use the paprika. These are our magnetic stamp pads. I love them. And I'm going to use paprika. I'm going to do one at a time. I'm just going to do a little bit on the bottom. I know it's going to be covered up by the time I get over here, but I'm just going to give it a whirl here. So let's see. I'm going to put this on the bottom, and I'm going to start off the edge just a little bit. So you can see I'm hanging over the edge. And then you butt it up. Sort of overlaps, doesn't overlap, doesn't really matter. It's just an Xy pattern that's really cute. I'm going to bring in my other piece of paprika because I want to repeat this so that it runs across both layouts. And I'm going to do the same thing. Ink it up, and then I'm going to start a little bit off the paper, just like that. it for the stamping portion. So that was paprika. And it matches, of course, beautifully. It gives a really nice tone on the page. And now I am going to attach my, and you'll see it doesn't all fit on there. That's okay. Because we're going to do a little trimming. I'm just kind of looking to see that I've got these on there similarly. Don't have to be perfect. If you are the type of person who needs to measure, measure away. If you're the type of person like me who's good enough eyeballing it, good enough eyeball it. Okay. So what then I am going to do, flip this over, use my cardstock as my straight edge, take my scissors, and you just trim that right off. And then you can go along the edge here and you can trim these off. You can get out longer scissors, which I think I might do. I'm struggling a little bit here. See how that turned out. I like it. I'm happy with that. Let's get the other side. I do have a garbage can over there, in case you wonder if I'm just tossing stuff on the floor. No, I do have a garbage can there. And then same deal on this side. Again, you like to measure. If measuring's your jam, measure away. But if you're okay eyeballing it, then eyeball. And I am leaving it off the edge just a little bit. And I'll just use my big scissors. Big scissors. Big scissors. And here you are going through multiple pieces of paper, so it's okay that it's a little tough. Good enough. Let's put those away so I'm not dealing with that. And get this stuff cleaned up a little bit. And I am quite pleased with how these pages are coming together. So this is how they're going to lay in the book. They can lay like this, or if you wanted to, you could put them like this, and that would also look really cool. But for today, I am doing this. I did bring out some placeholders. As consultants, we have access to purchasing photo placeholders. They're not available to everyone. It's a benefit of being a consultant or a maker. So I'm trying to decide how I want to do this, and I'm thinking, I don't know. Kind of thinking I want to do something like that. But then I like them pushed together, but then that covers up my point. Do I care? Do I want to do something like this? This is where you play around. This is where you figure out what you want to do. I know I want to put a couple of pictures. So I was thinking I wanted to do more, but I'm thinking I'm going to just put 2 placeholders there. And I'm going to put one here. Most of my photos are landscapes, so I'm pretty safe putting this landscape. And it'll just overlap a little bit there, so I'm not covering up all my beautiful work. You got to think about that. Yeah, we'll put this one down here. Again, most of my photos are landscape. Sometimes I have a vertical. And if I need to, I could come along and change that. The other thing I want to do is I cut out some letters. We have these really cool, they're a stamp and a thin cut. You can get the stamps alone, or you can get them bundled with the thin cut. This is the simple serif uppercase, simple serif lowercase. I think you say it's serif. It might be serif. I don't know. But I just used the thin cut part and I cut out the letters. And yesterday I got my order, or 2 days ago, I got an order from the Boxing Day sales that we had going on right after Christmas. I gave myself a budget, and it was one day you can order stuff, and then that was it for me. But I hit a day when they had the charcoal shimmer brush, and you know I am all about my shimmer brushes. I love my shimmer brushes. But I thought, ooh, charcoal, I wonder how that would look. It's still kind of neutral, so let's give it a whirl. I gave it a try on a scrap piece of paper to see if I liked it, and I do. I think it's really pretty. So I am going to put a little shimmer on these, but I think first I am going to, I don't know if I want to put the shimmer on them first and then put them in place, or if I want to, oh boy, it's a tough choice. It is a really tough choice. I think I'm going to just take, I don't know. I'm stumped. Not sure what I should do. I think what I'm going to do, though, is I am going to break my rule, and I'm going to use my favorite liquid adhesive here. And I am going to put a little adhesive on these letters before I get them in place. And I've just got them on some Post-it tape just to hold them, because they're little. They're not too little, but they're sort of little. And I think I'll just grab some tweezers. And I don't know, my brain is spinning. Right now I'm thinking, do I want to try to keep them level? Do I want to try to make them straight? How do I want to put these on here? I think what I'm going to do, here's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to left justify it. So I'm going to do my best from a distance here. And when I say left justify, I'm just going to line everything up starting here and work my way in the other direction. And these pictures, I know I have a picture of his log cabin, which he built, and a picture probably maybe from one of my son's wedding or from a graduation where the whole family is in there. But now I'm going to I'm gonna hit the middle, kind of sketchy middle. I'm just gonna give a little shimmery goodness to these letters. And it dries pretty fast. It adds a little something something to give that title a little glitz and glamour. So I'm just hitting the middle. You could color the whole letter, I suppose, if you want. The other thing you can do is you can stamp with the stamp set, and it's in the middle, and so you end up with a border, which looks really cute as well. I'll have to try to remember to do that in a video. Maybe for my next Tackler Tuesday. Close up the charcoal. And you can see already it's starting to dry. If I can get it to... Oh, there it is. There's the sweet spot, the light. You can see the glitter. The other thing I thought would be kind of cool to do put a little bit of some speckledy splatters on here. And it's okay if it goes on here. That's going to get covered with a photo. So I'm not worried about it messing with the integrity of there. This is worth the sale price. So we've got our base pages. Now I'm going to slip them in, and I'm going to show you a trick that I should have used in a previous video. Put a piece of flat paper over the top. It can be pattern paper, it can be cardstock. Slip it over the top when you go to insert this into your page protector. Push it down in there and then pull this out. And it goes in so nice and easy and things don't get caught. I should have done that in the one video where I just struggled and struggled with it. After it was done, I thought, oh, why didn't I show that trick? Again, covering it up so that you have a smooth gliding surface to get these into the page protectors. And this works on any kind of page layout. Then you just grab onto the paper, pull it out. Super easy. I've got the 5x7 flip flaps, and I changed my mind. I decided to put 2 cards in each. So when you flip it up and look at it, there's another card here. They are not attached at all. You can slide them out and you can look at them. I'm going to attach them to this other flip flap because you can do that. You can attach things, flip flaps to flip flaps. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this around so that I've got this adhesive part closer to me. The adhesive, I've removed the protective strip, so the adhesive is here. So I've got it, and I am centering it on top of this card, and I'm going to adhere that down, and I'm giving it a really good press to make sure that all of that adhesive sticks. And then I'm flipping it there, and then I'm going to do the same thing here. You just peel off that protective strip, and I've got it upside down so that that sticky is down. And I am going to just butt it right up next to the one I just put down. And 1, 2, 3, go for it. And again, rub, rub, rub it so that it's nice and smooth. And there you go. And I am back again. I did move this from this page over here over to here. As I was opening and closing, I realized that the rings can impede the opening of this. So I moved it to this side. I think it's fine. I did do a little stamping. I used the border tab stamp set. It does have some thin cuts that you can use to make some borders and different things, but I just use the stamps. Just to give an indication, I did a back-to-back, and I'm opening this up here, and I have the cards here, and then you can see the card on the bottom. Here I will put a photo. This is the 8.5 by 11, and I'm going to move this over a little bit so you can see. And that holds the obituary. And then this is the other page layout. I did create a journal box here so I can do a little journaling. If the story gets to be longer, I could add it here. I think I may do a little typewritten thing that I could slip in here, and then this will be a place to perhaps write what the photos represent. And this is how it turned out. Tackle It Tuesday, Project 1, done. Thank you for stopping by. Have a blessed and crafty day, and I'll see you next time.